Hello chieftains, welcome back to the YouTube channel. I hope you're doing well. So it's funny, I haven't recorded for probably 2 weeks now, maybe even 3 weeks. Obviously to you, it just looks like we've got videos batched up, but yeah, I've just recorded one, getting into the flow. This one, I don't really have any notes. You can see my notes just here, pretty blank for this one, because it's really just kind of a thinking out loud type video, this one. What I want to talk about today is ultimately the fragility and vulnerability that comes along with focusing on self-improvement and self-development. So a context for you, I've been running the business for nearly 5 years. Over that time, I have changed and developed a ton. Fair play to Yasmin, my missus, because like I'm obviously at the core, I'm the same person, right? But generally, like I've gone through so many phases and transitions and this and that and the other and that sort of stuff. But the point being is that I've been in this self-development and self-improvement journey for quite a long time. Um, and really, I have intentionally kind of stripped out distractions, noise, things that I feel don't contribute to the overall goal, which is ultimately building a world-class video production company, right? We've had a ton of distractions along the way, but I'm very settled in that as kind of the mission and kind of what I'm trying to do in a professional sense, if that makes sense. And what I've noticed more recently is that I have a specific routine that I follow. You can watch my morning routine video if you want to see exactly what that is, but it's pretty stock in terms of like eating clean, going to the gym, focusing on getting out in nature and being around kind of friends and socials and really just it's about balance, right? And interestingly, I had my stag do last weekend, and I also noticed this, like if we go out on like a big drinking session or something like that, like it takes me, and I know I'm older now, right, but it takes me a lot longer to recover from activities that you would deem, I say, more like hedonistic, right? So like if you're really indulging, if you're eating shit food, or you're smoking cigarettes, or you're drinking multiple pints and that sort of stuff. Like it takes me quite a long time to kind of get back into the flow of things and back to what I would consider the most optimal version of myself in terms of like how I feel, how I think, how I act, and all of that sort of stuff, which ultimately is the best version that contributes to the business being able to do what it needs to do, right? And kind of ticking along and growing and all of that sort of stuff. And what I've noticed is that ultimately the pursuit of personal and self optimization leads you to be a lot more fragile as a person. And I don't know how I feel about it. I haven't really kind of collected my thoughts in a cohesive way. As you can see, I'm kind of just like talking out loud. But really, what I think is super important to notice and to take heed of off the back of this is how do we then build mental and physical resilience to things not going perfectly, right? Like if I don't wake up, or let's even start the day before, right? Like if I don't go to bed at the perfect time and get really good, 80-90% plus sleep for 7 to 8 hours, and then wake up between 5:30 and 6:30, and then go to the gym and fast until lunch and eat clean and get the work done and be productive and feel like I am kind of in this pursuit of progression, which makes me feel good, right? Being able to wake up in the morning and yesterday be able to tick all my boxes on the habit tracker and stuff like that. If I can't do that, it definitely does put me in a more mentally degraded state for the day. And I know it's easy to say like don't like you have to be able to have fun in life and stuff like that as well, but what I think is more important is being now able to develop a bit more mental resilience around this sort of stuff, because ultimately, like, I don't have kids yet, and I think that kids are going to be a huge thing because they bring chaos into your life, right? You can't have a perfect routine when you have children because you have somebody else that you're responsible for, and something else that you are going to need to give a lot of time, focus, and attention if you want to have the type of relationship that I would want to have with my kids, right? So it's an interesting one. I don't really have a point to this video in terms of where it's going and where it's going to end up and stuff like that. It's just an observation. It's something that I've noticed, and I would be really interested to hear if other people have kind of been through the same process and ultimately what you do in terms of building a bit more mental resilience. Because I think that when I was doing stuff like when I wasn't going to the gym, or I wasn't eating well, or I was smoking cigarettes, or whatever, right, drinking a lot, like you almost like don't you almost learn to exist, and learn to operate from this position of feeling like shit or suboptimal. You don't even know that you're feeling suboptimal, and then as soon as you begin to feel like where you have sustained energy and a sustained mood, right, and a consistent like ability to turn up and do the things that make you feel good, and delay the gratification, which ultimately does make you feel good in the moment, like when you have no idea what you can feel like, and then as soon as you do, you go back to the old patterns and the old habits and the old ways of being. It can be quite like disjoint. You can feel quite disjointed, feel disheartened. Yeah, it's definitely a sensitive and vulnerable spot that you feel for sure. I think I'd probably have to sit down with someone and they like ask me why, and we just get to the root of it, right? But I would be super interested to hear if other people have struggled with this. If you are, what are you doing about it? How do you build mental resilience to not having the perfect routine, and still being able to feel good and feel like you're progressing and that sort of stuff as well? So that's it. I'm going to sign off here. Yeah, I don't even know if this video is going to make it on there, but maybe it will, maybe it won't. All right, catch you soon. Bye bye.